Welcome to the Elite Business Academy podcast, the favourite show for business owners and entrepreneurs to get their weekly fix of motivation and knowledge. Discover powerful strategies on how to build a successful business and techniques to create a positive life. And now, here's your host, motivational speaker, business coach, and founder of the EBA, Craig Wilkinson.
Welcome to the Elite Business Academy's podcast channel. This is episode 1. My name's Craig Wilkinson. I'm a motivational speaker. I'm a business coach. I'm the founder of the Elite Business Academy. And for over the last 2 decades, I've built from scratch, grown, run and sold a number of successful businesses. And I thought a fantastic place to start our new podcast would be for me to introduce myself, because I know there's going to be my members and our community listening to this podcast, but there's also going to be people out there that think, who the hell's this Craig Wilkinson? What substance, what clout, what credibility has this guy got? Why am I subscribing to his channel? Well, I set my first business up 24 years ago. I'm a carpenter and joiner by trade. That's all I'd ever done since leaving school. And I got to the age of 23 years old where I'm married, I've got 2 young children, I've got a mortgage round my neck, and I decided that if I were to pack my job in and go self-employed and set up my own business, then I would become stinking loaded, I'd become multi-millionaire, I'd have all this time on my hands to be able to do whatever I want to whenever I please, because that's what happens, doesn't it, when we work for ourselves, when we set our own business up? No, not for the vast majority of people. Because running your own business, regardless of industry and regardless of sector, can sometimes feel like the toughest job in the world. And that's exactly what happened to me. I bought a rusty red transit van, I took my bag of tools, and I decided to go and seek my fame and fortune and to build a better quality of life for me and my family by setting up my own business. And just like many business owners, when they set up their first business or go into business, they've got the drive, they've got the passion, they've got the determination. They are prepared to run through brick walls to get to where they want to be. My why was I wanted to build a better quality of life for me and my family. I didn't want my kids to go through what I'd been through as a kid growing up in Sheffield. So I was prepared to graft. I was prepared to grind and put that time and effort in. But fast forward 12 years, and I've gone from a joiner and a bag of tools and a rusty red transit van to building and growing and morphing into a large building company. I've got 18 members of staff. We've got 20 subcontractors. I'm turning over £2.5–3 million a year, and everybody looking from the outside in used to say, he's doing all right for himself, that Craig Wilkinson. He's got a great reputation, he's got a great business, he's got all these vans on the road, he's got work coming out in his ears, he's got credibility, he must be absolutely raking it in. But if truth be told, behind the scenes, this business is now killing me. Why? Because I'm now working 80, 90 hours a week. I'm not seeing my wife and my kids. The first marriage went down the pan because I was always working and trying to build this better quality of life for my family. I'm doing the marketing, I'm the boss, I'm the van driver, I'm doing the accounts, I'm seeing customers at evenings and weekends. This business is now starting to take over my life, and everybody is making money out of me. I'm the last one to get paid all the time. Sound familiar? I then got a phone call from a financial advisor that I knew who said to me, Craig, do you know what? You are the busiest fool I have ever met. Everybody is taking the piss out of you. You're the one that's putting the time and effort in and getting no results. Why don't you change it? Why don't you do something about it? And I said to Russell, I said, listen, I don't know what to do. I've created this monster. It's out of control. I don't know how to grow and build a successful business. all I've been doing is winging it and making it up as I go along, trying a bit of this, and if it works, I'd do a bit more, and learning by my mistakes. So Russell said to me, right, here's what I want you to do. I want you to meet me at a gym in Sheffield at 7 o'clock one morning, and I'm going to take you to something called a networking event. And I said to him, I have no idea what a networking event is. I'd never even heard of the word networking. Yeah, this is 9 years ago. I'm just a builder, a struggling builder. I didn't even know about networking, but I met him and I went to this event. And we walked in at 7 o'clock one morning. And I walked in with my rigger boots on, my work boots. I got my work trousers on. I'd got my polo shirt that were covered in paint and decorator's coke, and I walked into this room and I was just met with a wall of people wearing suits. Completely put me outside my comfort zone, and not only were they wearing suits, but they're supping tea and coffee with saucers. The mug in my van had not been washed for over 3 years. Yet here I find myself in a room what I thought was mega successful people, and I wasn't worthy of being in the same room as these successful people, purely and simply because of the attire they were wearing. And I was well outside my comfort zone. And we sat down in this networking meeting, and I'm shaking, my palms are sweating, my heart's pounding, I'm nervous. And one by one, each of these people in this room stood up and did what they now I know to be known as an elevator pitch, where they all pitch to the room. And slowly but surely, it's coming round to me. It's my turn. And Russell's kicking me under the table saying, you're up next, you're up next. I stood up, I managed to get my name out and my company name, and then I bottled it. I sat back down, I was embarrassed, I'm glowing red, my heart's pounding. I just wanted to get the hell out of that room. And right at the very end of this networking meeting, I was asked if I wanted to become a member. And if I'm being absolutely honest, I still to this day don't know whether I joined the group, one, either to get me the hell out of that room, or two, because I knew subconsciously that I needed some form of help. So I joined this networking group, and unbeknown to me, joining this networking group all those 9 years ago was to change the course of my life forever. Within this networking group, there was a guy called Mark Chatterton. And Mark Chatterton was a business coach. Now, I'd never even heard of the word business coach before. I'd never heard of it. And I sat down and I had a chat, I had a one-to-one with him. And he said to me, Craig, the reason why you were experiencing all these challenges and problems and pitfalls in your business is because of this. Who taught you how to build and grow a successful business? And I stopped for a minute and thought about it, and I thought, well, nobody. My mum didn't, my dad didn't, the lecturers at college didn't. Nobody showed me how to build and grow a successful business. I just winged it, like 92% of small to medium-sized business owners are doing right now. We're winging it, we're making it up as we go along. But that drive, that determination, that passion that you've now got will at some point subside. And it subsides because we run out of knowledge. We've got a certain amount of knowledge that we've got over these years that takes our business so far, but after a certain point, we're clueless. We run out of ideas because we've never experienced or we don't know how to grow a business. So Mark offered to coach me. He says, I'll teach you the skills, the knowledge, the tricks, the tips, the tools that you're going to need if you want to build and grow a successful business. So I went home and I said to my wife, Sarah, I said, listen, I've met this guru, I've met this guy who claims he can solve all our problems, yeah? And she said, well, Craig, you've got two options. Option one is you either resort yourself to the fact that you're going to be a busy fool forever and you continue to plod on doing what you're doing, or we take this business coach on and you learn the skills of how to run a business. But the challenge was at that time for us, we didn't have the money to pay the fees every single month. So we took massive action, we took drastic action. This is how desperate I were. And we remortgaged our house and we took £60,000 worth of equity out of our house. And I thought, right, this is it. It's shit or bust. I've either got to invest this money to learn the skills, or I will be a slave to my business for the rest of my life. So I started having weekly coaching, and I learnt the skills of how to build, grow and structure a real business rather than winging it and making it up. I learnt about the importance of mindset and personal development, and that for anything to change in your business or your life, you have to change first. And I got the most negative, most horrendous attitude and mindset. I got a closed mindset because of the pressure and the overwhelming feeling that I was constantly under. So we worked on mindset and personal development. We put a business plan in place. We put a marketing strategy in place. I learnt about the 9 key fundamental areas of every business that I had to master. And over the next 2 years of coaching, I went from being that busy fool joiner, working 80 hours a week, robbing Peter to pay Paul, and everybody making money out of me, to having a business that ran like clockwork, with me working 1 day a week in it, just 8 hours a week, checking my KPIs and making more money than I could have dreamed of. But why did I get to that point? I got to that point because I got off my backside and I did something about it. And there is help, there's support out there. There are people out there that have got the knowledge that you may potentially need if you're in a similar position. And ask yourself this question: who taught you how to run, build and grow, and even potentially sell a business? Because if nobody did, why are you trying to reinvent the wheel? The wheel's been invented. People know how to build and grow businesses. Why aren't we getting the knowledge off these type of people? And that's exactly what I did. And finally, after 14 years of hard graft, hard grind, running through brick walls and sweating blood, I finally got the business and the lifestyle that I've been craving. I then continued over the course of the coming years to grow the business to a point where I was approached by a much larger main contractor, a big building company based in Sheffield, who approached me and said, listen, you've got such an attractive business, we want to buy you out. Now, I wasn't looking to sell. It took me years and years to get to where I wanted to be, but I couldn't refuse the offer. So I sold the business, lock, stock and barrel, setting me and my family up financially for the rest of our lives. People then started to take notice of the results and the achievements that I'd gained. And they started saying to me, Craig, how have you done it? Can you show us how you've done it? Because we saw you. We knew when you were that busy fool. And now look at you. How have you done it? And I had that many people asking me. I said, right, I'll tell you what I'll do. If you are serious about growing your business, meet me in a backstreet working men's club. It was a Friday afternoon. It was March 2012. I said, meet me and I will start to give you all the basic things that you're going to need to not only change and transform your business, but to transform your life. Now, I had no idea going into this meeting what to do. I wasn't a presenter. I wasn't a coach. I was just somebody that had done okay through hard graft and determination. And lo and behold, 20 people turned up at this working men's club. So I started to teach them about the power of opening your mindset up and learning the new skills. We started to talk to about networking and contacts and how we could potentially pass business between each other. I taught them about business planning, marketing strategies, time management, systems and processes that they needed to implement in their business if they were serious about taking it to that next level. And after that first session, they were ringing me back saying, Craig, that was fantastic. We want to do it again next month. Can you put another session on? And oh, by the way, thank you for introducing me to so-and-so, because now I've built a relationship up with them and we're now swapping business between each other. And I thought, hang on a minute. If the people on my doorstep are suffering from the exact same problems as I had in my business, what is it like further afield? What is it like UK-wide, worldwide? Surely everybody that sets up a business has similar challenges along that journey. And that's where the EBA, the Elite Business Academy, was first born. And who'd have thought 5 years later that we would have grown and morphed into the huge organisation that we are, helping thousands of people globally to learn the skills to build a business that gives them the lifestyle that they deserve. And that's why every single month we have hundreds and hundreds of business owners attend our academies, our masterclasses, our inner circle coaching programs to learn the skills of business. And in actual fact, we've generated over £51 million worth of new business just from business owners meeting and networking at our events. And the reason why we've set up this podcast channel is to give away all the knowledge, all the tips, the tools, the tricks, the strategies, the plans to people worldwide so they can implement it into their business. And for me, it's like a ripple effect. If we drop one pebble in a pond, it's going to create one ripple. But if we drop thousands and thousands of pebbles into that pond, it's when them ripples overlap that the magic happens. So our values, our culture, our mission statement is to help as many business owners worldwide to get out of their business what they want to get out of it. And I don't know what that looks like to you, but in every single one of my podcasts, I'm going to give you some golden nuggets, some priceless content that will help you to take your business to that next level. So what I want you to do now is I'd love you to just grab a pen and paper, because I'm going to share 3 books with you that completely changed my life. It was a game changer for me. Now, what we need to understand at this point is, when I was being coached by Mark, I'm 36 years old at that time, and I'd never read a book in my life. Because as you get to know me along this journey and you get to know me personally, and I make no bones about it, I'm dyslexic. So I'm rubbish at reading, I'm rubbish at writing, and I cannot spell for toffee. So when you're paying your business coach thousands of pounds a month to coach you, and in one of his very first sessions, he asked me to buy and read 3 books, you can imagine what my response was. And it went something like this: you are having a laugh. I'm paying you all this money to coach me, and you give me 3 books to read. Do not give a dyslexic person books to read. Just tell me how to make more money and how to work less hours. And Mark turned around to me and said, Craig, I cannot do that, because you've got such a closed negative mindset that no matter what I share with you, you're not going to believe it. So we have to work on shifting that mindset first and foremost. And he recommended 3 books to me. Now, after duress and after a lot of arguing, I bought the books and I read the books. Yes, it took me 6 months to get through 3 books, but after reading the 3 books, the penny finally dropped. And the problem all along in my business wasn't my customers, wasn't my team, wasn't my cash flow, wasn't my marketing. The biggest challenge, obstacle and hurdle in that business all along was, guess what? It was me. Because I was the driver, I was the leader, and I wasn't leading this business correctly because I had a closed mindset and I didn't have the knowledge to hand. So these are the 3 books I'd love you to get. Number 1 is called The Secret by Rhonda Byrne. And this book made me realise the difference between positive and negative energy. Some of this might go over your head. I accept that. It did with me when I first started off on this personal development journey. But when I read the book, I realised that until I could tip them scales in more favour of being positive as opposed to negative, I was going to struggle. Book number 2, The E-Myth Revisited by Michael Gerber. The E-Myth Revisited by Michael Gerber. And once I read this book, I realised that every business has the same challenge, and every business has to be systemised so it runs without you being in it. Think of McDonald's as a franchise. It doesn't matter what McDonald's you go into worldwide, they run the same. There's a system, there's a process behind the scenes that people run with, and we need to get you out of your business so you can spend time working on it. And the E-Myth Revisited by Michael Gerber is fantastic. The third one is Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And for me, this has to be one of the oldest personal stroke self-development books ever written. And I believe that a lot of gurus, coaches, speakers have taken little bits out of this book over the years and created their own content. So for me, it's the original, most powerful self-development book. It's not necessarily getting rich as in financially rich. It's getting rich as a person and getting that abundance and getting that love and getting that joy and getting that fun and getting everything that you want into your life. So that's who I am. That's who Craig Wilkinson is. That's the Elite Business Academy. Listen, there is more than enough business, there's more than enough money, there's more than enough time and love to go around. It's not a case of this is my little pie and I'm not going to share the successes with everybody else. The whole ethos behind the EBA is to help as many people as we can by sharing this valuable knowledge and content, and we're going to be doing that every week, week in, week out across our podcast channel. So if you've not already subscribed to the podcast channel, please do so now. You can subscribe on iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud or Stitcher. But also what I encourage you to do, if you're not part of our Facebook group or part of our community, I'd encourage you to go and join our group by following this link. It's facebook.com/groups/Elite Business Academy. Jump on there, introduce yourself, tell us where you're tuning in from around the world. If you've got any challenges or problems or issues that you want to raise that might help yourself or get our community to help you with it, then please introduce yourself on our Facebook group. Tweet us on Twitter at EBA Circle. And if you want to use our hashtag across all social media platforms so we can pull our community together, our hashtag is hashtag EBA Circle. So that's Craig Wilkinson. Thank you so much for tuning in and listening to episode 1. I'm really excited to be getting moving with this podcast channel, and I'll see you over on episode number 2. Thank you. Thank you for listening to my podcast episode. If you're new to our channel, could I encourage you to hit the subscribe button. Below this video, I've put together a playlist of all the other episodes in our podcast show. And one last thing, if I can ask you to turn on the bell to notify you of future episodes.